Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to round 5 of season 7 for SAFRL Tier 1. And tonight we're at the Hungary ring. 35 laps for the 50% race, 4.3 kilometer circuit, and just an elevation change of 34 meters, 14 turns, and speeds of 310 kilometers an hour. Back in 2012, Max Verstappen versus Charles Leclerc. On that occasion, Charles Leclerc choosing the wrong tyre, Max Verstappen going on to win. Max Verstappen involved again, this time against Ricciardo in 2017. Ricciardo coming off second best. And if you remember that, his race didn't go much further. And then Kimi Raikkonen digging deep into his rally talents to get past Felipe Nasr in 2016. We have the 3 compounds available as always, the soft, medium and hard. If we do get any unwanted conditions, the inter and the wet are on standby. Here we go. We are at the Hungary ring. At least we're in the pit lane of the Hungary ring. Obviously just the one quali session. 18 minutes for everybody to get everything sorted out. You guys having issues with the stream, just let me know how it's going. On my side it looks okay. It appears we have an issue. Just give me 5 minutes. Okay, welcome back. We had a few issues there. Just let me know if it looks a bit better now. So unfortunately we missed the first couple of laps. Wheeze, man, on the top of your timesheets, it's Ferrari P2, Afrodox P3, and the second McLaren in P4. McLaren's looking good so far. One McLaren looked fantastic last night. How many of you enjoyed the Lando Norris victory? Just let me know in the comments if there's any improvement. I certainly hope so, because we've only got 10 minutes to go till the race. So Wheeze, your provisional pole sitter, he's out on an out lap again, not wasting any time. It's Ferrari P2, Afrodox P3. Those two remain in the pits for now. Brands, he's in P4 in the Haas. Pushes Madwell down to P5. Guys, I'm gonna cut the stream real quick, and I'm gonna just see if I can try anything. I'll be back. Okay, I think we're back. And as I say that, I see my YouTube pause. I don't know what's going on, guys. Fortunately, so far, you've got a completely silent commentary. Been trying to sort out tech which I don't understand yet. Madwell still leads the way. That's the same as it was when we left. Wheeze P2, it's Ferrari P3. We've got a yellow flag. Brand's still in P4. Logic now, the car up into P5. We have Afrodox. A lot of cars sitting in the pits just waiting for that final run. 4 minutes remain. Just let me know in the comment section if you can hear me, if you can see me, More importantly, how does it look? So Madwell a 1:14.9, Wheeze P2 a 1:15.2, just 0.3 of a second, still an improvement very much possible. It's Ferrari in the pits, as is his teammate. The McLaren's leaving it very late, or they're happy with those times, one of the two. Brands remains in the pits. Logic out on track, and as I say, that comes into the pits. Just 3.5 minutes remaining. Might be able to get back out there. Just not much action out on track to speak of. This is Wheeze 1:15.2, currently in P2. Madwell just ahead of him, 0.3 of a second. It's Ferrari in third place, and that's just by a tenth. Stream still giving issues. I have no idea why. Everything that shows me my stream quality is showing me a good stream quality, but clearly, as you can see on your side, that is not the case. Madwell 1:14.9, that's still the quickest lap time. This is Madwell, still 1:14.9, it's still the best lap. Wheeze P2 has retired from the session, so we don't expect to see any sort of improvement from the P2 man. That's going to be the best he can start. It's Ferrari in P3. He can improve up onto that front row, make it a all McLaren front row. Brands P4, Logic P5, those cars out on track. Afrodox P6, he's on a quick lap. This will be his final quick lap, and as we go there, he's not on a quick lap. He's stationary. Virus P8 1:15.9. He's a second off pole position. Revolution, just tell me, how is the stream looking now? Is it any better? Can you hear me? In a bit of a difficult situation. The race is minutes away, and if I start climbing into the settings here trying to find what the problem is, the race is going to slip by ever so quickly. So just let me know in the comment section if things are looking a bit better. Hopefully that is the case. Afrodox P8, Andres P7, Pantry Star P6, Logic, he's in P5. Two drivers on the front row have retired from the session. It's Ferrari, can still improve. Logic goes up onto the front row. Weeze loses that front row. Madwell holds on to P1. This is its Ferrari. Second McLaren. Oh, he'd love to put this up on the front row, and so far he's quicker in Sector 2. It's not purple, but it's a personal best. He's going to need to find 3/10 if he's going to overtake Weeze, and he's going to have to find, well, 3/10 to overtake Logic. Those times very close together. Sorry guys, I've tried everything. There are your official results. Madwell takes pole position, Logic P2, that was right at the end there, then Weeze P3, it's Ferrari P4, Brands P5, Pantry Star P6, Andres P7, Afrodox P8, Venom P9, and Big T making up the top 10. Not in the top 10, Virus, Mr. M, Shark, and I've missed that. It went too quick. What a night it's been on the stream. And there we go, folks. We have rain. I've actually seen rain very often, quite lately. Seems like it's happening more and more. There are your 5 red lights. That went very quickly. It's going to be McLaren versus Alpine into turn 1, and it's going to be a wet turn 1, hopefully not a messy turn 1. Madwell leads the way. It's Ferrari up into P2 early on in the race. Logic P3, Brands P4, Big T P5, Afrodox. He's still trading positions. Hasn't decided where he wants to be. We have a caution early on. Madwell leads from his teammate, Logic P3. He's lost a position early on in the race. I'm going to have to look through these settings very carefully and see what has gone wrong, so that hopefully don't have any of these problems on Wednesday night. Comment section has gone a little bit quiet, so I'm not sure who can see what and what the quality is, or if you guys can even hear me. Madwell leads the way from his teammate. That gap half a second. Logic P3, we have a virtual safety car. If we do get a full safety car, I'm going to try and take another minute or two to figure out what is wrong with the quality of this stream. Okay, so you guys can hear me. It's the game that's being an issue. It's the visuals, at least. We are still under virtual safety car. Everybody running line astern. Do have two cars at the back of the field. That's an Alpha Tauri and an Alfa Romeo. We are now green flag once again. It's difficult to get involved in the settings menu because then I forget to commentate. Madwell leads from its Ferrari, Logic P3, Brands P4, Big T P5, Afrodox P6. And we have another caution. That just seems to be a Ferrari going awfully slowly. Don't think it'll be more than that. But safety car threatening. Keep on seeing the yellow flashing up. This is Brands. He's in P4. We haven't spoken much about him. Well, we haven't spoken much about anyone. We've had a terrible stream so far. Qualifying was a very quiet affair as far as the comms box goes. Madwell leads the way from his teammate P2 for its Ferrari, Logic P3. It's right on board with one of these drivers. We've randomly picked the Haas driver of Brands. Let's just have a look at this track. Is it something that looks like it's going to be getting any better? Or something like that could be getting worse? Yeah, I see. I know the stream has issues. I apologize, guys. I'm trying my best. I'm watching it back on my side, and I can see it is the visual quality. There's something very wrong. Logic P3 is not letting those McLarens get away from him. I have no idea what it's doing. It's good for some, not for the rest. Try and also just try and refresh your browser. But on my side, I can't even see my... There we go, there's my stream, so hopefully it stays that way. Madwell leads the way. It's Ferrari in P2, Logic P3. Brands has held that Haas in 4th position. Hasn't really looked to attack the Alpine just yet. Quite happy to stay there for now. Is the track improving? Is it getting worse? Doesn't look like it's getting worse. If anything, it does look like it's getting a little better. from the raindrops we saw in the pit lane till now, this does definitely look a little better. Pantry Star further back in P8, Venom P9, Virus is in 10th place. That is the final point, of course. Top Gun just outside the points, P11, Andre P12, Ace of Pace 13. And as we say his name, I don't know if he was listening to the stream. Certainly he can't see the stream. But he's driving. Maybe he was listening. Because as I said his name, Ace of Pace spins around. But luckily no damage. That was virtually in the middle of the track. So no barriers involved. Madwell still leading the way. His teammate, though, no longer in P2. That position has now gone to the Alpine. Logic has taken up P2. He's also taken up the fastest lap of the race. So he's passed the one McLaren. And now he targets the next McLaren. Top three, Madwell, Logic, and it's Ferrari. Brand still holding on in P4. He's a second down the road. No DRS in the rain, of course. Surely this will dry up. It is a light rain. Unless suddenly the skies get a bit darker. And then we're in real trouble. Will you look at that? The stream has paused on a tree. That's fantastic. Pantry Star P8, Venom P9. He's fighting for that P8. He's awfully close to the back of the Alfa Romeo. Virus, he's in P10, but he's fallen off the back of those two. Still defending from Top Gun. He's trying to get himself into the points bank positions. It's going to be a tough race, especially if we have changeable conditions. Of course, if we have these conditions throughout the race, well, that just means pretty straightforward if you don't get any damage. Probably just a one stop or a two stop, depending on how far you want to take each set of those intermediates. Of course, the rain could get worse, and then we'd need wet. But something tells me the weather is going to be getting better. We'll be getting onto dry tires, and these lap times will be coming down very quickly. Madwell leads the way from Logic. It's Ferrari P3, Brands P4, Afrodox P5. And we have Andres, Big T, Pantry Star, Venom, and Virus. Those are your top 10. I'm running out of options. I don't know what to do anymore. Let me just have one last attempt. Just give me a minute or two. I'm going to try and see if I can do anything about it. Guys, I am back. If you can hear me, let me know. I really don't know what to do anymore. I've looked at my settings, everything looks like it is the way it should be. I've had a look at my internet speeds and everything is working the way it should be. For some reason, something is just not working out here. Since you guys are paused, what else can I do? Is my voice breaking up? Is it as bad as the video? Here on my side, I'm not even dropping frames, so not quite sure what is going on. I'm back, but it seems like the problems are still there. Tell me in the comment section, what should I do? Should I just give you visuals, or try give you visuals of the race? Do you want me to continue commentating despite the visuals, or do we carry on and hope that things improve? Let me know what things look like now, because I'm pretty much running out of options. So far at the front, Madwell leads the way as he has since the start of the race. Logic is in P2. We've had so many issues in this race that we have completely forgotten to bring up the tyre screen. Obviously everybody's on inters. We just wanted to see if any of those cars have ventured off onto the slick tyre. Just the one, and that's Jacques. Let's have a look how that car is doing on the slick tyre. I think still a bit too slippery. Has he gone a bit too early? Jacques. He's at the back of the field and he's the only driver on a set of medium tyres. The rest of the field still on inters. And I think that is the same decision, because if you look at the back tyres here of Madwell, you can still see a lot of spray. Don't think the track is quite ready for that next step in tyre. Madwell's still out front. He's still gaining a lot of time on P2, so those intermediates are still in the operating range. Track not dry enough. You see Jacques 46 seconds adrift from the rest of the field. Madwell sets the fastest lap of the race so far on lap 12, and that's on a set of inters, so those inters are still very much working in these conditions. There's definitely still spray. Does anyone still see raindrops? I don't think there's any raindrops. I think it's a matter of this track drying out. And when it does dry out, it'll be an interesting affair, because obviously that changes everything. Some drivers may be a little quicker in the wet, some may be a little quicker in the dry. You may see a difference in this field when those weather changes do happen. Still see a lot of spray. So I don't know how much longer until everyone comes into the pits. 11 laps on those intermediates, so they should still be relatively okay. Madwell leads the way, Logic P2, but look how this field has spread out. It's free. Still on the back of Logic. But it's so difficult in the wet. Remember, no DRS in the wet. DRS is something a lot of F1 drivers have become quite dependent on with these larger, heavier cars. Of course, DRS invented to help with overtaking. So in the wet, you take that feature away, and it really comes down to a little bit more driver skill. No more gimmicks. You have to stay on the back of your opponent, wait for a mistake, hope for a gap. Or if you're Ayrton Senna, start using completely different racing lines to get past. Madwell still out front. Brands P4, Afrodox P5, Big T. Have a caution. Venom P7, Pantry P8, Virus P9, Top Gun. He's the second Williams, he's in P10, his teammate up in P5, Andre just outside the points in P11, Ace of Pace 12, Andres 13, Mr. M 14, and then Jacques 15, so both Ferraris currently outside of the points. Inter still seem to be tyre of choice. Nobody else venturing onto the slick tyre. It's just Jacques. And I wonder, is that car ghosting? And there we go, confirmation that car is ghosting. So the mediums make a little bit more sense now. Madwell goes purple. So still going quicker and quicker on those intermediates. Shows us the intermediates definitely are not dropping off yet. Also shows us that weather is still perfect for that tyre. We don't have any comparison. If we had one of these quicker drivers on the slick, we could see what sort of lap times he was doing in comparison. The only reference we have is Jacques. And now Mr. M. Is that car also ghosting? Or is that car filled by a very brave driver? Seems to be the case. Mr. M, first of the non-ghost cars to use a slick tyre. Let's go on board with the AlphaTauri, see what things look like. How does the traction look? Mr. M. Hopefully that wasn't a mistake, and hopefully he meant to put those mediums on. Race control saying DRS is enabled, and that is usually where the track crosses over, so we may just see a whole flurry of cars coming into the pits on this lap. Or it all depends, do the guys think they should do another lap? Madwell absolutely flying on those intermediates, able to take them a little bit longer into this drying track than everybody else. Look at the gap, 10 seconds between Madwell and Logic. Logic hasn't been able to pull that sort of gap on anybody else. He still has a DRS train behind him. It's Logic for Brands all in that queue, and then Afrodox having a bit of a lonely race. Big T, P6, Venom P7, Pantry Star still P8, Virus still P9, and Top Gun on that final point. It's Ferrari, first of the top runners to come into the pits. He's the second McLaren, his teammate going out for one more lap because he was still getting good times out of those intermediates. So letting his teammate come in first. It's Ferrari. What tyre does he put on? Will it be the medium? No, it's not the medium, it's the hard. Looks like he's looking to take this to the end of the race, which also suggests that the rain should be staying away. We won't see a return of the rain, otherwise we'd see softer compounds. Afrodox has also come into the pits, but he's chosen to go on the medium. So now we have Andre, Mr. M, Jacques, and Afrodox on mediums, as is Big T. Lots of action in the pits. Pantry Star coming into the pits. He's the second driver to choose the hard compound. Andres and Venom still in the middle of the field. They're on enters. They're going to have to come into the pits in the next lap or so. Brands P3, Logic P2. But look at that. He's lost 10 seconds to your leader. And Madwell all of a sudden finds himself in a very strong position unless a safety car were to come out and cancel that gap out. Everybody else is going to have to do a very special job to catch this man here. Logic comes into the pits as well, so he's not going to briefly lead the race. Brands comes into the pits as well, so nobody wants to briefly lead the race. It's Ferree currently in P4. Don't think he's going to have anywhere near enough to get out ahead of his teammate. And absolutely not. It's not even around that final corner. Madwell is on the pit exit. Remember, that gap was 10.5 seconds. So let's have a look what it is when he comes out of the pits. Quite similar, but he has actually gained a little. 10.9. Now it's Ferree battling with Logic. We have a caution, and they're slightly out of camera. I was worried those two cars had collided off camera, but it's Ferree. Goes in front for now. He's 10 seconds behind his teammate. Logic moves down to P3. Will be interesting to see later in the race if there was any sort of contact there. Those cars got awfully close. We didn't get all of that on camera. Then Brands P5. Andres P6 having a better night now for Ferrari. They were both outside the points not so long ago. Big T P7, Venom P8, and then Pantry and Virus still the last two cars making up the points. McLaren 1-2 looking very possible. Madwell going quicker and quicker. He was setting faster laps on the inters. Now it looks like he's going to set a faster lap on the medium tyres. First time a round. Let's see what he can come up with. Well, he was fastest in Sector 2, maybe fastest in Sector 3. Watch this next lap. I think a fastest lap is coming from the McLaren driver. His teammate behind him has been able to recover a little bit of ground. That gap was 10.9 seconds. It's now 10.2 seconds. Afrodox actually the quickest man on the circuit at the moment. Fastest lap goes to him. He's in P4 and he's all over the back of Logic. Logic looked quite comfortable in that P2 not so long ago. Now the Ferrari's got past him in the dry. And he's coming under pressure. Now this is what you would call a pretty useless safety car. If you're Madwell, it's a useless safety car. If you're the rest of the field, you're breathing a sigh of relief. Because that 13-second gap now is going to be cancelled out. Everybody's going to have another go at staying with Madwell with just over halfway distance to go. So more of a sprint race to the end. If that safety car had come out just a few laps earlier, would have worked out perfectly with the pit stops. You can see everybody there just on 1 or 2 lap old tyres. Everybody would have utilized that safety car to make their pit stop. Unfortunately, safety car came out a lap or two after everyone already had fresh tyres. So there's not too much you can do with this safety car. Unless anyone were to come in and have a change of heart with their tyre selection. We actually have a McLaren coming into the pits. Safety car conditions, lap 19 of 35. It's Ferree leads the way. This car of Jacques, it was ghosting earlier on. It seems like it's not ghosting anymore, so I wonder if he was able to get back in. If he was, safety car like this, perfect. Brings him right back into the race. It's going to let everybody come back into this race. Everybody's going to have relatively fresh tyres. Some of the drivers like Madwell, brand new mediums. 0 laps on those mediums. Same story for Logic, same story for Afrodox. Coming in, getting the freshest possible tyres they can, so when they get that restart, they can get a launch. Obviously no one in the field using the soft compound, because that wouldn't get you to the end of the race. You'd be gambling on another safety car. Fortunately, if you're hoping for the action to get back underway, it's not going to be just yet. Safety car is going to be out for another lap. Field is still well spread out. We have some cars trailing at the back. It's Ferrari leads the way. Madwell in P2. Madwell's got that advantage now over his teammate. Remember, Madwell 4-lap old hards. Sorry, it's Ferrari 4-lap old hards. Madwell just 1-lap old medium tyres. And that 1 lap was under a safety car, so those tyres are practically brand new. Just behind him is Brands. Slightly older mediums, 3 laps. Virtually no difference when you consider that those laps will have been done majority under safety car. And either somebody's going to be left behind the safety car, or is that Andre? Let's have a look. It's not Andre. Who's the other Aston Martin? It's not Firestone either. I'm not sure what car that is, but there's a car at the back of the field. But I think he's going to be able to catch up, probably by the start or through the middle of Sector 3. Unless the safety car waits for that last car, then we're going to be out there for another lap. No confirmation just yet. That car trailing at the back, currently in the middle of Sector 2. So he wasn't able to catch the field. Now, safety car can sometimes just leave that car behind, but not on this occasion. So some drivers choosing to come in under safety car. They were already at the back, knew they could come in, do a pit stop, get an even fresher set of tyres, come back out, join the queue, and it's not going to change much because you were already at the back. It's Ferrari. Madwell just behind with the tyre advantage. Brands P3's had a pretty solid race so far. Spent a lot of that stint in the rain in P4. Logic was a comfortable P2 for a majority of that rain. But in the dry, things have changed. Depends on that car setup. Sometimes things just suit one condition or the other. Depends where you've put all your focus. It's Ferrari, Madwell. Let's have a look at that queue. That queue is together. So I expect the safety car to come in at the end of this lap, and then we'll be back underway. With what will be a much shortened Hungarian Grand Prix. It'll be a sprint to the end. There we go, safety car in this lap, and immediately you see the cars weaving almost in sync with that confirmation. Everybody's starting to weave, making sure they can just get as much tire temperature, as much brake temperature into those wheels as possible. So when they head into turn one, they don't need any surprises. It's Ferrari. He's going to lead from his teammate. He will be aware of that tire advantage. It's going to be interesting to see how does McLaren play things out. Brands all over the back of Madwell. We get a better camera angle. There we go. Logic comes out in P2, so a whole mess of things happening there for P2. Logic now P2, Afrodox P3, Madwell. He's lost 2 positions. He was in second position when we got that restart. Just a few corners later, he's down to P4. Remember, he's on the medium tire, as are all of the cars around him. It's Ferrari, leads the way on that hard tire. We thought his teammate was going to have the advantage at the restart. That wasn't the case. What it did do, gave its Ferrari a fantastic lead, 1.7 seconds. Almost looked like that McLaren was trying to just back the rest of the field up, play a bit of a team game, but then got swallowed up by the field in that sequence of first corners. It's Ferrari leads from Logic. That gap 1.1 seconds. Remember, we're in the dry. DRS is active, and if he gets it below 1 second, things are going to become a little bit more difficult for the Papaya McLaren in the lead. Now Madwell gets past Afrodox. He's not wasting any time. He wants to get back up to the front. He's going to be annoyed that he lost those 2 positions. So much momentum lost. Got to do the work all over again. Luckily for him, luckily for all of those drivers in the top 7, no penalties. Just the 1 penalty going to Big T. See if we can just get confirmation of what that penalty is. It's just a 3-second penalty for Big T. It's a track limit. No other penalties to speak of that we know of. If there was, they were cancelled out in the pits. Logic. Looked like the race was just going away from him a little bit. Now the race looks like it's coming right back. Remember, 0.4 of a second, but that tyre advantage. He's got a tyre advantage. It was the tyre advantage I was expecting from Madwell. But we saw Madwell going backwards at the restart. But now Logic all over the back of its Ferrari. He's going to have superior traction. He's going to have DRS. And it's going to be a matter of when. Because surely its Ferrari isn't going to have the infinite ERS. And Logic has taken the lead of the race. Now Madwell is coming up on the back of his teammates. It's going to be interesting which of the teammates are faster, and if Madwell is the faster car, surely we'll see the switch. Let Madwell get after Logic. So far it's Ferrari still holding on to the back of that Alpine. Further back in the field we do have other battles. Venom, followed by Big T, followed by Andres. We have Pantry Star. Not far behind him, Virus. So many cars in that battle, so many cars trying to get that final point. Ace of Pace P11, Andre just behind him, and he's in a train of cars. He's coming under pressure from Top Gun and Mr. M just behind him as well. That's what happens when you get a safety car. It just brings everybody back together, creates a little bit of excitement, especially if you have one driver in the field who's a little too quick. Just lets everybody have a second go at it. Madwell, he's in P2, but he's coming under all sorts of pressure. Logic will be enjoying this because the more Madwell has to defend, the more he looks in his mirrors, the more he'll be able to get away. And it took a long time to get our first safety car. It hasn't taken very long to get our second safety car. Seems like the complaints about the stream have slowed down, so I'm going to presume this stream fixed itself in time for us to get a handful of safety cars. Probably most of the action happened when the stream was broken. Wouldn't that be ironic? So now we are under safety car yet again. It is lap 25 of 35. So let's see what the drivers do. We look at the leader, and I thought we might see something like this. Logic coming into the pits. Surely it's the red tyre. Surely they're going on to the soft tyre. Just 10 laps to go in the race. Some of those laps will still be under safety car. So you're going to have a fresh set of soft tyres at the end. That's what Logic has done. He's gone with the soft tyre brands. Some drivers choosing to stay out, some choosing to come in and get a fresh set of softs. And surely Pantry Star is in the lead right now. Was that the right choice? He's on 10 lap old hards, and there's no way he's going to be able to keep up with those 7 cars behind him on the soft compound. Gives us a chance to have a look at some of the drivers at the back. Andre, he's gone into the pits as well, put on a brand new set of softs, so he rejoins the race in P14. It's not as big a loss as you may think because the safety car is out. He's going to be able to catch the back of the queue. And if he's able to maximize the capabilities of those soft tires, he could still find himself in the points. Remember, queue gets compressed together. He'll be able to see P10 in front of him. But it's going to take some really impressive driving because everyone around him is going to have that exact same advantage. Just a few cars out of sync with the rest. Every single driver, with the exception of 3, is on a brand new set of softs. Those 3 drivers, Andres on a brand new set of mediums, Mr. Rem on a 6 lap old set of mediums, and your leader with the oldest tires on track, 10 lap old hards. Now realistically, those hards should have no issue getting to the end of the race. That's not the issue. The issue is he didn't react to that safety car. He chose to stay out. He chose to hold on to track position, maybe thinking half of the field would go in for softs, not expecting the entire field to go in for softs. But if he has the pace, if he has the ERS battery charged up, and if he doesn't have too many laps left at the end, he might be able to pull it off. But it would take something very special. Top Gun 13, Ace of Pace 12, Virus just outside the points, and he's going to know Andres just ahead of him. That final point sitter, he is on the medium. If you're able to utilize that little bit of extra grip you get from the soft at the start, should be able to get past that Ferrari. The Alfa Romeo still out front. Sometimes it takes a roll of the dice. Sometimes it works out perfectly. Other times you're left scratching your head. Pantry Star, this is going to take a very brave drive and one of the best defensive drives you've ever seen. What will he do at the restart? Remember, so many cars behind him, 7 cars behind him on brand new soft tyres. And he's going to be under all sorts of pressure by the time turn 1 arrives. He leaves the restart very late, almost waiting for the start-finish line. Knows nobody can overtake till that start-finish line. Wants to give all of his opponents the shortest run to turn 1. The Alpine not wasting any time, going side by side with the Alfa Romeo. Logic wants to get by, doesn't want to waste any time. Knows that car is on hards, knows he's going to get held up if he sits behind him any longer. And Logic takes the lead of the race. Pantry Star already loses a position. 12 lap old hards now the situation on that Alfa Romeo. Mr. M, 8 lap old mediums. He's also going to be coming under pressure. He's coming under pressure from a Haas. Brands P4 sniffing out a podium. A little further back, Madwell, he's in P5. It's Ferrari P7. Remember, those 2 McLarens were looking at a 1-2 not so long ago. They have come in, they have put on soft tyres. But unfortunately for them, a lot of cars around them have done the exact same thing. You see Madwell going up into P4. I think that was Big T briefly leaving the circuit, but we did see carbon fiber flying across the camera there. So somebody on track has damage. Logic sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.4. He is the leader. He's going fastest. Fastest man on circuit. Nothing more you can do at this stage except bring it home. 20, that is 2.8 seconds. Madwell hasn't given up on this yet. Remember, he went in for softs. He's now behind Brands. The gap just under half a second. Want to catch up to Brands, get past Brands as quickly as possible, because you can see that gap at the front. Almost 3 seconds now. Logic disappearing into the distance. Quite frankly, both McLarens will be looking to get on with it. It's Ferrari. Makes a pass of his own, goes up into P5. His next target will be the AlphaTauri of Big T. Madwell is up in the top 3, but isn't able to do anything about the Haas right now. Remember, if Madwell were to win this race, he'd need to pass the next 2 cars that have exactly the same advantages as him. 4 lap old softs now. No difference in tyre compound, no difference in tyre age. So it's not going to come down to something like that. It's going to come down to pure pace. Try to look a little further back in the field for battles. We're going to get battles here for P10. Top Gun all over the back of Venom, all over the back of Ace of Pace. All these drivers looking for points. We've got a really close top 10. Look at this, everybody practically within DRS. Everybody wanting to be in the points. 3 drivers unfortunately are not going to be in the points tonight. You don't want to be one of those 3 drivers. Afrodox retires from the race. Luckily, no more safety cars. Well, it is lap 30 of 35. 5 laps to go. Safety car is still possible. Generally in the safe zone when we get 3 laps to go. So let's not mention any safety cars for now. Logic leads the way. 3 seconds is the gap. We thought Madwell was going to make his way past Brands. Didn't want to spend too much time behind the Haas, but he has spent a fair amount of time behind the Haas. The Haas goes defensive into turn 1. And he just does not get the traction he would have liked on the exit of that corner. Just the Haas going a little bit sideways. Took him a tenth or 2 to get that car in a straight line again. And by that time, Madwell had cleared the way. Madwell finally has some clear air ahead of him. He's going to find a 3-second gap Now that he gets there and he knows what he needs to do, he's caught that Alpine before in the race, but now he needs to do it all over again. Lost another car. It seems like Virus has now retired from the race. I think I saw him driving into the pits. So that seems like a voluntary retirement. Maybe he had damage on the car at this late stage in the race. Logic leads the way. Madwell P2. Baran's P3. I don't think he's at any risk of losing to that second McLaren. He's got a 4.5 second gap. It's Ferrari. Just hasn't been able to get everything out of those soft tyres in the final stint as his teammate has. His teammate up in P2. He needed to watch that gap. Remember, Madwell got up into P2. The gap was 3 seconds. Since then, it's fallen somewhat. 2.3 seconds now the gap. He's taken 7/10 out of his opponent up the road, Logic. And Logic would probably want to respond, because at the rate that these tenths are falling off, I think we're going to have a very, very close last 2 laps. Logic, 1.8 seconds is the gap. It's dropped below the 2 second mark. When Madwell can get this within the 1 second mark, you know what's going to happen. He's going to get DRS, and this is going to get even easier. But so far, even without the use of DRS, he's been closing this gap. Almost seems like he gets a tenth out of it every single corner. The gap now 1.6 seconds. And DRS doesn't seem that far away. Not so long ago, we were just over the 2 second mark. And now we're looking at a battle into the last 2 laps of the race. Mr. Rem, Pantry Star, Top Gun, everybody just changing positions at the back. For now, Pantry Star holding on to the final point. Remember, he was leading this race at the restart, but those hards, there was no way he was going to hold it. We thought he might be able to hold on to some sort of position, maybe finish in the top 5. But those tyres have dropped him almost to the rear of the field. Just holding on to a final point. Logic leads the way from Madwell. Gap continues to come down. Now just 1.2 seconds. How much more does Madwell have in his pocket? How much deeper can he dig? It's now 1 second. And we're going to have 2 laps to go. Thought we'd have a close final 2 laps, and there we go. Get to the start finish line, 2 laps to go. The gap is 7/10 of a second. McLaren is well within DRS, and the victory in this race is far from decided. We've had a fair amount of retirements in this race. Virus, Afrodox, Jacques, Wheeze and Reese. Didn't even see the retirements of Wheeze and Reese. Stream was giving us a lot of issues at the time, but the complaints have stopped. So I'm guessing everyone is enjoying the racing. Everybody is watching. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this many viewers. No, the quality of the stream hasn't been great, but leave a like. Logic leads the way, 0.2 of a second. Look at this. How much closer? How much longer? Will Logic defend? Is there a point? Yes, there is. He knows there's almost no time left. If there was 10 laps to go, he might not defend. Not quite sure what happened there. It just seems like both cars just losing momentum there. Both cars just looked like they're going a bit slow, but they've got back underway. Logic leads the way from Madwell, 0.3 of a second. Is it going to be now into turn 1? Is he close enough? The Alpine goes defensive, goes towards the inside. This is the final lap. The McLaren's not going to have many more opportunities. Obviously, just that DRS zone on the main straight. And it's not the longest main straight, and that's not how you want things to end. Definitely not how you want things to end. And unfortunately for the Haas, he arrived there just in time to become part of that little skirmish. If he had been half a second up the road, he'd be in the lead right now. Madwell leads from Brands, Logic now P3, and those two just getting a little bit too excited on the final lap of the race, adrenaline running high, and making this sort of mistake you don't see too often on a Monday night here on SAFRL Tier 1. These guys can usually go wheel to wheel, lap after lap, and we've seen that tonight. In fact, we're seeing it right now. Look at that, 3 cars on one of the narrowest circuits on the F1 calendar. So there is quality racing just every now and then. Every now and then things get a little messy. Checkered flag falls, Madwell takes the victory, Logic P2, Brands P3. It's Free not able to put the second McLaren on the podium. Venom P5, Big T P6. Seems like no penalties. Well done to all the drivers. Quite impressive to get no penalties around Hungary, especially when you consider the conditions we had. Driver of the day goes to Big T. Congratulations to Big T. We now just await the official results. Seeing a McLaren on the top step of the podium is something we could all get used to. Madwell took the victory there. He had the fastest lap in the race, and it wasn't by far. 17.0. Logic 17.1. He finished P2. Brands P3. That's your podium finishes. Then it's Ferrari P4. Venom P5. Big T P6. Ace of Pace P7. Andres P8. Top Gun P9. And Andre picking up the final point. And if I'm not mistaken, we just had 2 cars outside the top 10. That was Pantry Star and Mr. M. Everybody else in the DNFs column, that is Virus, Aphrodox, Jacques, Wheeze, and Reese in the early stages of the race. Thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you for everybody who stayed through all the technical dramas at the beginning of the stream. Be doing a few test streams tomorrow just to make sure that doesn't happen on Wednesday. But thank you to everybody who did watch. Just saying there that is not the official results. No, I don't think it's going to be the official results. But unfortunately, we don't have live stewards. And as a commentator, I don't have any link to the stewards. So I'm not going to make any comment on anything. I saw what I saw. You saw what I saw. I commented on it at the time. But I'll let the drivers sort that out amongst themselves. Or if they wish to take it to the stewards, they can do so as well. We have those facilities. But as a commentator, I don't want to get too involved on whose fault was what. I want to thank you all very much for joining me tonight. Even though we had issues, please be sure before you go, leave a like on the video. We've got something like 15 viewers, just the 4 likes. So leave a like on the video. We'll be back on Wednesday night. We're going to do all of this all over again. We're going to do Hungary again. We're going to have a different set of drivers and hopefully a much better stream. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for putting up with YouTube's issues. We'll be back on Wednesday. And until then, cheers.
can't, it's broken! It's broken!